Trojan family, what is up? Welcome back to the USC LAFB show here on the LAFB network. I'm your host, Ryan Dybert. Thank you, as always, for making this a part of your day. Been a busy day in USC land. We talked potential special teams coordinator, USC in pursuit of Mike Eckler at Nebraska. We talked about that earlier. Plenty of details on the channel if you look for that video just below. We talked some latest DC intel earlier this evening. A lot of info on the defensive coordinator search and when that could potentially be wrapped up. So check that out if you haven't already. And now for the late night hour, USC announces 2 more re-signings for the 2026 campaign. And so we're going to get into that very quickly. First, the announcement of, well, they came out of order, but I'm going to start with first, Tamir Robinson, linebacker, re-signs. Remember, he was part of the portal class last year. He was in the spring portal class. Once Chad Bowden came to town and was hired, he was part of that spring window, that small spring window, and came over from Penn State. And, you know, he's a kid that's got great size, 6'3", 230 pounds. So certainly fits that flavor profile we talk about all the time of what USC looks like they are looking for when it comes to linebacker size. Going to be, I believe, a redshirt junior going into next year. So still some eligibility left, but has been around for a couple years now. So does have not necessarily a ton of playing experience, but at least some collegiate experience, and been now with this team for over a year. Last year, more of a special teamer, had 79 kick coverage snaps and 33 punt return snaps. He did also have some linebacker snaps, usually late in games when USC was out ahead and whatnot. So he had 52 total snaps from inside the box. So did see the field sporadically throughout the season. You know, it'll be interesting to see what USC wants to use him as, if he is more of a depth special teamer, or if they believe with another year of development with that size, if he could potentially contend in that linebacker room that will be headlined by Desmond Stevens and Jaden Walker. You have the addition of Devin Bryant from Washington, plus you got Elijah Newby, plus AJ Tuateli, plus all the incoming elite freshmen like Talanoa Ely and so forth. So it is a talented room. It is a room that underwhelmed last year, and a room that is still not super experienced. So it's really up for the taking, whoever truly ends up being the starter there. So Tamir Robinson, I think, is a good addition back. Even if it ends up just being a depth, I think with that size, with now him being in his 4th year in college, a well worth re-signing to come back to the Trojans and see what he can do, and at the very minimum, be a quality special team player. The other now re-signing, and this one was surprising, I think. We haven't heard much from him, and know he was away from the team, but Alani Noah officially re-signing with the Trojans for 2026 will be back. So there is your starting right guard, and with his re-signing, USC will return, which is actually really positive, all 5 opening day starters on the offensive line. When you look at Elijah Page at left tackle, Tobias Raymond at left guard, Killian O'Connor at center, Alani Noah at right guard, and then Justin Tawanu'u at right tackle. Clearly, there will be competition for those spots. I would say as of now, those are your 5 penciled in starters, as they were last year. But some of the additions coming in, especially some of the young guys, plus guys that have been there like Hayden Treater and others, will compete to gain those spots. So it should be a healthy competition in the spring and the fall. But certainly great news that Alani Noah is back. I think, let's start off the field. You know, this to me is a really good sign that, hey, whatever was going on, I don't want to assume the worst, but clearly there was some stuff off the field happening because he was away from the team. And I have no idea if the team was in contact with him. You would assume he was, especially now seeing he is back, but we don't really know. There was not a lot of reports on it. There was the little reports that we did get was just like, we don't know. So he was away from the team, didn't play in the bowl game. And so seemingly with this re-signing shows that, hey, whatever was going on, not saying everything's all butterflies and rainbows, but seemingly able to get past that. He is good. He is in a right headspace and ready to focus on football with this team. I mean, most importantly, no matter what, is your mentals and your off the field and your personal life. We know he's had some struggles and, I believe lost both his parents early on in his collegiate career, which would be would be nearly impossible for anyone to overcome. So he's already been able to overcome that to an extent and extend his collegiate career. So first and foremost, as I've said multiple times, like his personal well-being is absolutely most important. With that being said, whatever was going on, whether USC and him were in communication beforehand, they clearly have patched things up. They see him as a future for this team. And this is why sports in general, but specifically football, sports in general, I think are so important for young men and young women, because it becomes a brotherhood. It becomes a family. And the transfer portal can kind of destroy this a bit, and it certainly changes dynamics because you have guys coming and going so often. You don't have guys that are just here no matter what for 4 years. And it's a lot. Like every quality team has 20 plus portal entries every single year. Oregon's up to like 27 now. Ohio State's got a ton. So that changes things. But overall, especially the guys that are here from recruitment until they leave, there is a true bond and brotherhood. And so when you have those tribulations off the field, and if in Alani's case, there's been some loss in family, so who do you lean on? This is when your brothers and your coaches are who you can lean on the most, you would hope. And so it's great to see from that perspective that he is continuing on as in the Trojan family moving forward. And hopefully they can lift him up and help him reach his full potential. From a football perspective, very up and down year last year. I think he has absolutely the ability to be a really elite guard. I mean, when you just think about his size, 6'3", 315, pretty athletic for this size. Like when they want to run that G counter in the Lincoln Riley offense, the counter run with, guards pulling, he is certainly your best option in that. Like when he was out, they certainly missed that. Like some of the other guys maybe had some of the athleticism, but didn't have the pure strength and speed in order to do that. So I think Alani Noah gives you that best ability. Now his pass blocking certainly still needs to be improved upon overall. And even his run blocking outside of the GT counter and different, zone packages was hit or miss. When you look at PFF grades, finished with an overall 56.8 grade, a 53.9 pass block grade, and a 56.3 run block grade. So not like an elite season, certainly showed some elite snaps. It was just inconsistent, but he has improved every year. Freshman year, 48.4, sophomore year, 54.6, and then this year, 56.8. Again, PFF grades are not the Bible, subjective, but gives you some context, and would love to see him improve upon that and continue to grow as an offensive lineman. So he will have competition at his spot. Whether it was, I don't think anyone's guaranteed to start by re-signing, but if he was told like, hey, the spot's yours and let's beat now, like there will be competition coming in for him. Like I said, with the guys already there, guys like Hayden Treater. And then when you look at this incoming freshman class, like I've said, I think Brett Koleje, I kind of slot more as a center potentially, but Eason Tafa, Vlad Diakonoff, more of a tackle, but maybe they start him inside. I mean, who knows? There will be competition on the offensive line, but now all 5 opening season starters are back, which is great and what you want to see. Do you see this like bug flying around, like right across, like a moth right through my camera? Love that. So we'll wrap this up. So that brings USC's current roster by my count to 90. So we were at 87. You add Tamir Robinson and Graham, you're at 89. I don't think it's been officially announced yet, but seemingly Sam Heward will be back as like QB3 with a medical red shirt. So that puts you at 90. We've talked before how more than likely they're going to add a tight end in the portal and then probably be done with the portal. I gave some tight end potential names out there. I believe all 3 of those are still available. I believe. I'll check on that video. But that video is out there. And so looking to add a tight end, that brings you to 91 spots. The lone player, by my count, that is still unsigned, that A, needs to be re-signed, because he's a damn good football player and you want him back next year. is Alex Graham. That's the one we're still waiting on. You've probably seen other reports out there. Based on what I've heard, he's pretty much going to be back pending, I think, Doug Belk. If whatever happens with the DC hire, which I've talked a ton about, so I won't do it on this video, but if whatever happens with the DC results in Doug Belk leaving, that certainly can muddy the waters for Alex Graham. So as long as he is back, I believe Graham will be back. It seems like it's pretty much a done deal. Maybe they're just working out some different NIL contract language in that. Again, I don't know why that would take that long unless he's just kind of worrying other options. He's not in the portal yet. The portal does close in just a couple days on Friday. So, are there other ways you can circumvent that? Unenrolling, going to it. There's ways, right? We've seen guys do it in the past. Who knows how legally binding that is? But seemingly a decision should be made in the next kind of 3 days. And it feels like if I were betting, I would say he will be back. I think that'll be the case. I think as long as his staff stays intact and as long as they figure out the NIL thing, which I think they will, Alex Graham could be back or should be back and should be a big part of this team. So then if he is back, that brings you to 92 total roster spots. As I've said, USC is going to be using 95 scholarships this year and they're not going to the full 105. Haven't found out why yet, whatever reason that is, but they're sticking at 95. So that leaves you, again, unless I'm missing some, leaves you 3 spots, which gives you some flexibility. Plus, remember, there still is the spring, not portal anymore, but there's the spring signing period for incoming freshmen. So, guys, JUCO products, maybe you get a late signing. Remember last year, AJ Tuatelli was in that late signing period. Jaden Ramos was in that late signing period. So they'll have potentially 3 spots if they want to add a late freshman or a late JUCO product to the roster, which I think is wise to leave a couple wiggle room there in case someone jumps out that was just overlooked. So there you have it. There's the latest with the latest sightings. Appreciate y'all. Hit that like and subscribe button. Let's keep this thing rolling. Become a member if you want to help support financially. You can pick up some merch. I know Lemon's gone now, but we got our Mayava Lemon for 2025 t-shirt there. We got a Haters Cause shirt there. I'll have some other USC merch dropping soon. So check that out regardless. It's on LAFBnetwork.com. Just go to the shop. But if you become a member, you get a discount on all of that stuff. So appreciate your family. As always, fight on. Hey, Trojan family, thank you so much for hanging out and watching the USC LAFB show. Before you go, let me tell you quickly about our friends over at Sleeper. Go right now, download the Sleeper app. It's the #1 sports app, not just for season-long fantasy, but they've got live pickers, they've got live stat updates, they've got a chat that you can chat with other users, plus the daily pick'em, which is a blast, or daily fantasy, whatever you want to call it. You go and pick 2 to 8 players across any sports. If you're talking USC, go choose Jaden Mayava in his next matchup. Pick more or less passing yards, more or less touchdowns. You stack those, and you can win real money. When you go to make your first deposit, make sure you use our promo code USCLAFB. You're going to get a match deposit up to $100. Put in $100, you get $100 free to play with from Sleeper. Put in $10, they'll match you that $10, so now you're sitting at $20 to play with. But also, right now, for any new users, no deposit required. You get $20 free entry. You can stack both. You can get the $20 for free. Go make a deposit. Use USC LAFB, and now you've got a bunch of free money to play with right there on the Sleeper app. Check it out, Trojan family, and when you do, tell them the guys at the USC LAFB sent you.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.